If God were hiring a king, David wouldn't even get a call back. Too young, too small, too ordinary, and yet he got the job. Why? Not because of skill, status, or even swagger, but because of something hidden, his heart. God saw in David what nobody else could, and what he saw, he's still looking for to this day. So the real question is, would he see it in me, in you? Welcome back, friends. Today we're diving into a life of David. Not because he was perfect, but because he was real. His story shows us what God actually values, how he works through our weaknesses, and what it really means to be a person after God's own heart. Let's get into it. And let's be honest, if we were hiring a king, David wouldn't even make the interview list. Youngest of 8 brothers, part-time shepherd, musician on the side. And he was still a teenager. And yet God looked past every quote-unquote qualified candidate and chose David. Why? Because of his heart. That's both encouraging and a little terrifying. Apparently, God isn't impressed by resumes. He's not impressed by what you do and then tell everybody about. He's looking for something much deeper. So today, we're diving into the life of David, the man who was not perfect, made big mistakes, and still ended up being called a man after God's own heart. That's encouraging. It's so encouraging for us. And that's why it's in the Bible. People might think, the Bible is full of people's mistakes. Yeah, it is. But it's for us to learn. Let's start with the statement that defines David's legacy. But God removed Saul and replaced him with David, a man about whom God said, I have found David, son of Jesse, a man after my own heart. He will do everything I want him to do. Acts 13:22. Now, pause with me here for a second. Saul, Israel's first king, looked the part, tall, strong, kingly. He was a head over everyone else. But when the pressure came, Saul caved. He disobeyed God out of fear, made excuses, and refused to own up to his failures. So God said, next. Let's get someone else. So here comes David. He's the next in line. He was the one that God had his eye on. God handpicked David, not because of outward appearance, but because of something much deeper. People judge by outward appearance. You ever been a recipient of that? You ever went for an interview and you just got the feeling you were judged for how you look, or how maybe you're a shy person and you go to an interview and you're talking, but you're shy and you kind of stumble and you come off as, unintelligent. I've been there all the time, but you kind of get judged for first appearances. And yes, in some respects, that's the way it just naturally is. Sometimes we misjudge when we do that. But God looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. David's heart was soft towards God. That doesn't mean he never sinned, of course. We know he did, and badly, like most of us, but really bad. But it means he loved what God loved, he hated what God hated, and returned quickly when he fell. That's the kind of heart God can use. Not a flawless one, but a faithful one. That's the difference. Ever been around someone, your coworker or whatever, it don't matter. And they just hold on to things and just bring it up to you all the time, and there's nothing worse. You say, I'm sorry I took your pencil. I'm sorry I took your stapler, whatever. And they just can't let go. It's terrible. God is not like that. And notice the qualifier in Acts 13:22. He will do everything I want him to do. David wasn't chasing his own agenda. There's a lot of people out there that get into the ministry for the money, but that's a fact. A lot of people gets into religion and being a pastor and opening a church and so on for the money. But David didn't have any agenda. He pursued God's will. Did he mess up along the way? Yes. But direction matters more than detours. Let me repeat that. Direction matters more than detours. God saw a heart set on him. Even when David stumbled, David was just in his ordinary life, made God first. And that's very important. That's one of, if you get nothing else from this, remember that God comes first. Remember David and Goliath? Everyone else saw a giant and thought, run, run. Me and my wife is watching, excuse me, my wife found the series, The House of David, and it's amazing. Again, everybody saw a giant and thought, just run. We can't defeat that. I'm not big enough. He's big. But they didn't think that God was giving them their strength. David saw a giant and thought, well, that's a bigger target that I can hit. Right? He's bigger, he's clumsier, and I think I can take him. While Saul and Israel's soldiers trembled in fear, David asked one simple question. Who is this pagan Philistine anyway, that he is allowed to defy the armies of the living God? 1 Samuel 17:26. That wasn't arrogance, folks. That wasn't arrogance. It was perspective. David believed God was greater than any army, and he acted on that belief. That moment revealed his heart. Bold faith, not in himself, but in God, he trusted completely. He seen God was with them. Everybody else just played lip sync to God. But they didn't really believe it in their heart. The difference between Saul and David wasn't sin. It was repentance. Saul made excuses. David made confessions. Sin isn't what disqualifies us. It's refusing to turn back when we fall. David's heart beat in sync with God's, not because it was sinless, but because it was soft, humble, and always willing to return to God, willing to be pliable. And that is the big difference. Here's the challenge. What kind of heart do I have? Or am I more concerned with my own image or my integrity? If I have it, would God see someone willing to do his will or someone negotiating terms? God is still looking for hearts. Not perfect ones. Not polished ones. Just hearts that beat for him, listen to him, and come running back when they get off course. Maybe we've made a mess. Maybe we've blown it. Take heart. David did too. And yet, God still said, that's my guy. Let's start asking, am I pursuing God's heart or just his blessing? And people don't talk about that much. We're supposed to say, well, I'm pursuing God. But really, in most instances, we're only chasing the blessing. And it's easy to get sidetracked Here's a lie we often believe, whether we admit it or not. If I look the part, God will bless me. You ever heard the expression, dress like a successful person, you'll be successful? That's BS. God will bless me, people think, if I'm successful. That means I must be doing something right. Sounds familiar, you know? We live in a world that rewards performance and appearance. Saul looked the part of a king. He was tall. He was impressive. He was charismatic. People thought, now that's a leader. But God wasn't fooled. Outward image doesn't equal inward integrity. God doesn't bless someone because they shine on stage. He blesses the one who's submitted in the quiet places where no one else is watching. What you do in your shed, what you do when you're alone, what you do in your car, driving to work or coming home, whatever you do, how you act on the plane, how you act in line at the grocery store, that's who God sees. Who people see, I should say. God sees what's in your heart, what you're thinking, what you're holding back, how you look at people. Let's take a closer look at Saul, the man God rejected before David was ever crowned. How foolish. You have not kept the command the Lord your God gave you. Had you kept it, the Lord would have established your kingdom of Israel forever. But now your kingdom must end, for the Lord has sought out a man after his own heart. 1 Samuel 13 and 14. Saul had one job. Wait for the prophet Samuel before offering sacrifices. But when Samuel was late and Saul saw his army scattering, fear took over. He chose to hack rather than obey. Sound familiar? Panic decisions. That's what it turns into. Panic decisions. Impulse moves. Rationalized disobedience. Justifying yourself. It's not easy to just say, fine. You know, because we're human and we always think sometimes that God is like my mother or like my father, my cousin, my aunt and uncles. Just it's going to go on and on and on. If I say I'm sorry and come out and say I'm sorry, it's just going to go on and on and on. Why did you? I can't believe it. And then bring it up tomorrow, and the next day bring it up, and that's what we think. But that's not who God is. It's not that Saul was incapable. People might think maybe no. Paul was very capable. He was a good warrior. He was courageous on the battlefield. Overall, he was talented, chosen, and anointed. But talent isn't a substitute for obedient leadership. Without submission becomes rebellion. Later, when Saul failed again, this time sparing King Agag, I think his name was, and keeping the best sheep and cattle from the destruction, because he was supposed to kill every single thing in that land. He said something almost laughable. I have carried out the Lord's command, he said in 1 Samuel 15. Samuel's response cuts through the nonsense. What is more pleasing to the Lord, your burnt offerings and sacrifices, or your obedience to his voice? Listen, obedience is better than sacrifice. 1 Samuel 15:22. Saul thought he could compensate with religious activity. God wasn't impressed, not at all. Partial obedience is still disobedience. You can't say, I've done half of a roof. I shingled half of my roof. I'm done. The roof is done. No, it's not. I have not got a new roof shingled. It's the same thing. Partial obedience is disobedience. The saddest part, Saul never truly repented. When Samuel confronted him, Saul blamed the people, made excuses, and tried to save face. Now, in contrast, let's look at David's response. When Nathan confronted David after Bathsheba incident, David immediately said, I have sinned against the Lord. 2 Samuel 12. No blame, no spin. He was just brokenhearted. That's the difference. Saul clung to his image. David surrendered to God. One lost the kingdom. The other left a legacy. God doesn't demand perfection, but he does require honesty. The greatest danger isn't failure, it's pride that refuses to admit failure. God will work with brokenness, but he won't bless rebellion dressed up in religious language. Saul tried to look obedient without actually being obedient. And that, more than any sin, is what disqualified him. So here's the checkpoint, if you will. Am I trying to manage my image, or is my heart surrendered to God, even in the areas no one sees? It's a tough one. It's hard. It's a everyday struggle, and it's easy to get discouraged. That's Satan trying to do that. Just move on. Keep trying every single day. We serve in church. We know the verses and raise our hands in worship. We, as they say, give God a hand clap of praise, some say, and still have hearts full of compromise. Saul reminds us that it's impossible to look faithful and still be far from God. David reminds us that it's possible to fail and still be after God's own heart. What does our obedience look like when no one's clapping? When it's costly, when it hurts? God isn't looking for flashiness. He's looking for faithfulness. By now, you're probably thinking, okay, David was great at repentance, but what about the parts where he wasn't so great? And I'm going to say that's a fair question, because David had some serious blind spots, especially when it comes to his kids. But here's the thing. Even though David's story includes failure, brokenness, and family drama that could spark a reality show, God didn't throw him away. Instead, God brought restoration, because that's what he does for those who return to him. If God wasn't finished with David, he's not finished with me or with you either. After David's fall with Bathsheba and the murder of Uriah, he was broken. The prophet Daniel confronted him, and unlike Saul, David didn't offer excuses. He just simply broke down and confessed. I have sinned against the Lord, he said in 2 Samuel. And just like that, Nathan said, yes, but the Lord has forgiven you. Now, did Nathan come back? Do the Bible record Nathan coming back every Wednesday to remind David that he done a sin and making him feel bad every day whenever he seen David in a good mood? Well, I got to remind him. I got to take away his joy by reminding him of his past. He didn't do that. When God forgives, he forgives. And people have problems with that. I've seen it on YouTube. People have problems. They teach wrong things when it comes to God. God forgives and he forgets. Unless you just keep doing it. He don't forget in that sense. That's grace, right? No penance, no probation. Forgiveness was immediate. Did David face consequences? Yes. But did God abandon him? No. God even allowed Solomon, Bathsheba's son, to become the next king. That's redemption. If you look at it in a proper way, that's redemption woven in a wreckage. Later, David prays his heartfelt plea. Create in me a clean heart, O God. Renew a loyal spirit within me. Psalms 51. The word create here in Hebrew is bara. Not bra. Maybe that's how it's said, but it's bara. The same word used in Genesis when God created the world out of nothing. David knew he couldn't fix himself. He couldn't excuse everything away. He needed God to start fresh, from scratch. And guess what? God did. David wasn't disqualified. In fact, when Jesus came, he was still called the son of who? David. That's restoration with a capital R right there. Let's not skip over this. Solomon, the wisest man to ever live, besides Jesus, was the son of David and Bathsheba, like we just said. Think about that. The marriage that began with great sin and death became the line through which wisdom and ultimately the Messiah, our coming King, would come. That's not just forgiveness, that's God rewriting the story. My failures, my family messes, or yours, my regrets, your regrets, none of them cancel God's plan. Remember that. Satan gets into people's heads. It don't cancel God's plan for you. If God can redeem David's worst chapters in his life, he can redeem mine and yours too. God doesn't define you by your lowest moment. He defines you by your response to it. David wasn't remembered for what he did, his cover-up or his parenting failures. Yes, he suffered because of them. He was remembered for his heart, a heart that kept coming back to God. This can be my story, and it can be yours too. So, what's the move here? Maybe my heart's been, your heart has been distracted, divided, or even defiant. Maybe, like David, you're dropping the ball with your family, your job, your integrity, or your calling. Don't run from God. Run to Him. Start where David did. Ask for a clean heart. Ask God to bara, to create something new where there's been failure, pride, or fear, or whatever. Let obedience become your worship and repentance, your reset button. And I'm not talking about the reset button like the Great Reset that they talk about world governments. They're getting theirs. But a reset in spiritual life. God doesn't need you to be perfect. If He needed you to be perfect, He can't even make the angels perfect, okay? They rebelled. A third of them went with Satan. That's why He made us afterwards. He don't need us to be perfect. He just needs us to be constantly trying to be as perfect as we can according to His laws. But He does need your heart though. Willing, humble, and surrendered. God can fix anything. He can move a mountain and put it on the moon if He wanted to. He can fix what you've messed up. That is without question. But He can't accept into the kingdom a heart that don't want what He wants. They're trying to stay in line with what He wants. It's just not going to happen. Because that's still the kind of heart He's after, is what David had. What would your life look like if you stopped managing your image and started surrendering your heart? God isn't looking for impressive. He's looking for real, and the good news is, if He chooses David, He can choose me and you. Well, you drop a comment. Subscribe. Drop a comment. We'd love to hear from you. But that's something, it got me thinking, because like I said, we're watching the House of David, and I find it very interesting. They tell you they take artists' liberties, if you will, creative license to make it more interesting, I suppose. But it is an interesting series. Anyway, folks, I hope you have a blessed week, and hopefully I won't see you, but hopefully you can hear me again next week. God bless.